Okay, so here we are on location in my kitchen. Yeah, it's a little bit weird, but this is a slightly weird topic I want to talk about today. Not so weird, though. What I want to do is talk about eyes. And it's a comparison that I thought of recently while in my kitchen in regards to something I talk about in my classes a lot, which is how we use the whites of the eyes, the graphic shape of the whites of the eyes, as that quick read on our characters, that quick way to let our audience know what is going on inside of our character's head. And what struck me is that it reminded me of an avocado. Not so much this avocado, but more like this avocado. Whenever I slice into it, I think, wow, that's a lot like that flat graphic that I'm reading. And every time I would pull off a little slice of it, it would remind me that yes, indeed, this is the same. I could make this read the same way, in a very symbolic way, in a very graphic way. I can make it read like an emotion. So, for instance, if you just check it out, let's check it out down here. Check out this. You could imagine that this green part is the white of the eye. You can imagine that the pit in the middle is sort of like the seed, or I'm sorry, is sort of like the iris of the eye. And actually, I could probably, let's give this a shot. I don't even know if this is going to work, but at least it'll give me a little bit of an extra graphic. Sure, there it goes. Look at that. Let's put a nice pupil in there. Let's make it somewhat medium-sized. That's hysterical. All right. Bam! We got a pupil. All right. So if this is the eye, changing the shape of this is a very simple language, I think. If I take just like the slices that I've made of it, even just a regular quarter slice, and I pop that back on there, check that out. Check out, especially if I turn it around. Immediately, you could call that an eye that's saying something. It's saying sleepiness. It's saying suspicion. It's got more, if I tilt it even farther down, it's got even more of an evil gaze. If I flip it the other way, it's got kind of a glare, like that look where you're staring out at it. It could also be a look of, if I tilt it up a little bit, it's got a look of fear. There's lots of different things you could do with it. Oh, and actually, here, you can add to that. Just thought of this. I need eyebrows. All right, let's pull out a carrot. No, that's too big. Let's pull out a little one. Sorry, I should wash my vegetables. But if I pull this out, if I flip it over, even the combination of flat brow, angry brow, up brow, you could flip that over again, and you've got your if you put this down, it can be an angry glare, even if you overlap it. If you flip it up and you flip it up, it could be a little more like fear, surprise fear. This is really weird, sorry. Alright, so that being said, that's a good carrot. And if you also notice, there's a simplicity to the line. By nature of me cutting into this, this avocado, it's creating a simple curve across that rounded, the hide of the avocado, which is very much like how our eyelid passes over the round inside of our eyeball, the round shape of our eyeball. So the ability, if you'll notice, to get any sort of like S-curve would suggest, and in fact I can show you this on a really poorly cut avocado. I cut this slice off of here, and look at how badly, look at how badly I cut that, and it looks broken, it looks unnatural. This is not a shape that reads as anything clear right off the bat, and it kind of looks broken. I could do the same thing if I just started kind of pushing and pulling and making little bumps in it. And I think a lot of times we have the tendency to create, want to exaggerate our eye shapes with that S-curve when we don't really want to accept the fact that just this simple shape, just that simple single curve at certain different angles and coming from below or above, and most importantly, a sense of asymmetry. That there's more of this white, or in this case the green, on the bottom as there is on the top. All right, so let's take a look at some actual CG rig examples. I pulled up a selection of eyes from some of the best eyes in a very recognizable film that I think you know most of you may agree. It's just really beautiful, classic Disney-esque shapes, and a great example of simple lines and bold eye graphics. I even just flip through this selection of eyes. You'll notice really fast what you notice first is the white of the eyes, the relationship of the white of the eyes to the iris, to the colored part of the eyes. But really, bam, the white of the eyes just jump out at you. So just looking at, you know, what's going on in these shapes. Actually, let's go back up to this first one. The line is really, really simple. You know, this is one shape, this is one curve, this is one curve, and the bottom is one curve. Both of them have a sense of asymmetry as they relate to the eyeball as a whole. There's more up at the top than there is at the bottom. Same here too. This is, of course, going along with the fact that she is looking up. It's pushing the eyelid up in that direction, so that's helping the direction of the gaze, it's helping the believability of the mechanics of the eye, but it also has a really simple sense of appeal. And if you just look at any one of these curves and you think of it as if it were a Bezier curve, something that you might create in your graph editor, this could be done with a single Bezier tangent handle, you know, that's sticking out through that curve that influences that. There's no extra essiness to it. There's no, you know, there's no muscles that's being used in the eyelid that doesn't actually exist. If you go down through into the next one, you may argue that the shape of the eyelid is somewhat squared. You know, there's almost 2 points in it where the directions curve. But I would argue back that that's not the eyelid that's doing it. The eyelid underneath here is actually going in a simple curve. What's happening on top of that is the relationship of the brow cutting through it. The carrot relationship to the avocado. If I might go back to that little moment of weirdness back by my refrigerator. Underneath is this really beautiful, this is an example of a nice off, you know, an asymmetrical shape to that lower line. However, it's still as if it's being controlled by maybe a single control point on a Bezier curve right there, with the ends being held right there. You can still think of it really simply. But again, the biggest thing that you are looking at in this whole thing is what's going on in this shape. That's the green meat of the avocado. You can think it of the white of the sliced egg. Any sort of food analogy you'd like to make. Sorry about that. But that is the graphic. This is what you walk away with. I often like to make the comparison to classic kind of cartoon Warner Brothers moments where all the lights go out and all you see is the whites of the eyes. This whole part may be blacked out, you know, and all you end up seeing are the whites of the eyes telling you what's going on with the character. And every little shape change that those whites make are a readable emotion. A simple shape going up through there, simple curve. There's, I'm sure, the same simple curve going up through there. Eyebrow cutting through, eyebrow cutting through. Man, look at this. Like it's really small, so I got to blow it up really big. But instantly, you can just see the excitement in those upper lids up there. You can see that excitement in the lower lids, that pushed up feeling of anticipation, of pent up excitement. That upper lid is flexed really far back, and that is a great sign of an excited feeling. Same kind of excitement here, and in fact, this is a great example of the avocado without its extra slices, because, sorry for the resolution of this one, but you know, there's white all the way around this guy's eye. Excitement
without any concrete thought behind it. There's no anticipation, there's no glare of anything in that flex of the bottom lid, so that's wide open. The top lid is wide open and excited, and the pupil, if you'll notice, is actually a little bit smaller than normal. All those things kind of help communicate the surprise and the fear that they want to communicate in this shot. This last one I wanted is a really rare example of when you would let that bottom lid go beyond the center line. If you'll notice, this up here is cutting through, this up here is cutting through, but that is not simply just the eyelid pushing up. That's actually being influenced by that cheek, an ecstatic feeling of joy, you know, and she's probably in the middle of song and all that stuff. So, you know, in this instance, you just be careful that you don't, it's not simply the eyelid that's making that shape. It just gives you a quicker, faster, stronger piece of emotion. If this didn't quite go that far, and if that eye was closed up and touching the bottom of that, the iris of the eye, and the only white that you saw was this half and this half, these disconnected halves, it's not as easy to tell what that's saying, because it's two shapes, it's two graphic shapes that you have to connect together, and then you have to look around the rest of the face to get what's going on in the rest of the face to figure out what's going on. If you can let your audience read the shape, if you can let your audience read the emotion that's going on inside one single graphic, you're going to have way more potent of a scene, because they're starting off with a much stronger impression of the feelings of your character, and then they can go around to the rest of the face and read it. So here's your avocado, there's your skin, there's the outer skin, there's the thing, and inside here is that nice pit. That's your graphic, that's your language.
Use your avocados to communicate well, and they will treat you right. Thank you.